provinces or states, if you like, inside Ukraine. In other words, asking for land diplomatically that they've been unable to achieve through the barrel of a gun.
President Trump's Middle East trip is done. He's back on his way to the U.S. Before leaving the region, Trump said his administration has submitted a proposal to Iran for a nuclear deal, keeping Iran from nuclear weapons in exchange for lifting sanctions. He also announced a deal with the United Arab Emirates to operate a massive data center complex in partnership with U.S. companies. Uncertainty around tariffs is creating real-world ripple effects for global trade. From shipping delays to rising costs, businesses struggling to adapt to the constant changes. Import manager and licensee customer at Krenz and Hanna International, Leon Krenz, tells WTMJ's Point Taken his message to the U.S. Customs.
Everything that we've seen from the implementation standpoint of these tariffs has been rushed, dare I say haphazard from U.S. Customs standpoint. They can't keep up with the pace of this.
Krenz says the pace has been challenging for everybody in the industry. For over 100 years, the Catholic Church's circus ministry helps keep the faith for all performers.
National Chaplain for Circus Ministry, Father Frank Cancro, says providing faith to circus performers can go far beyond the Catholic Church.
The ministry has evolved to not only care for the Catholic community, but also take on a very ecumenical dimension as well. So I'll help them set up the Seder for a particular show, or I'll help find a mosque for some Muslims who might be on a show to be able to go pray and worship on a Friday.
Father Cancro says regardless of denomination, a familial connection is made with each circus that he visits throughout the year. In Baraboo, Sean Brindut, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 41 points, the Nasdaq off 11, the S&P 500 is up 3. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
It's the weekend. Take your family to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club for a free dinner. I just might do that. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The all-you-can-eat fish fry is fabulous. I love the perch. All other dinners are buy one, get one free, including the pecan-crusted salmon, the pan-fried walleye. They've got new items on the dinner menu. Enjoy your favorite steak, seafood, pasta, even steak and lobster, prime rib on Saturday, all of that. Your second dinner is always free. Sip on an old-fashioned. They've got over 20 bourbons and 100 wines. And that old world bar, it is so fun. You'll love the Fox and Hounds all you can eat Friday fish fry. All other dinners are buy one, get one free this weekend. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. The drive, the views, the kettle moraine, spectacular this time of year. Now serving lunch on Saturdays from 11 a.m. till 2. The all you can eat Sunday brunch is magnificent. Tables are open. Call and reserve your free dinner or check it out. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Yeah, when you say your Hasselus mattress showrooms are employee-free, you don't really mean it, right?
Of course we mean it. No employees. Give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why no employees?
To save you money.
How much money?
Well, others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove B Queen for $16.59, but the everyday Hasselus price is just $8.42.
Whoa, Nelly.
We also have way low pricing on our selection of Sealy Posturepedic and more.
Well, that's pretty good.
And through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress in any size and receive a free adjustable base.
That's exceptionally good.
Plus, free next day delivery, removal and setup of your new mattress, and free financing is available too.
All because your showrooms are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you do business.
Get a free adjustable base now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Get all the details and find the self-service employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
All right. Happy Friday. Joe Zapecki, you look confused already. What's going on? Oh, Joe cannot hear on. Okay. Well, I'm back. Thank you for, handling the ship yesterday, Steve.
You say ship?
Ship.
Okay.
Ship with a P.
Either one would have fit. Yeah, thanks. I had a blast yesterday, but you were missed. I had
the text line blowing up. You're like, oh man,
it was blowing up, but
this show's not the same without Kristin.
I didn't get a lot of those, but it's only a matter of time, really.
All right. right. Well, it is Friday. We already revealed Joe Zepecki in the studio. Hopefully you can hear us now. And then Bill McCoshen, can you hear us because you were on the phone?
I can hear you live and well from Minneapolis.
How is the weather? Was there a storm there last night?
Bad storm. It's going to be like 59 degrees here. We're back to early spring.
All right. Well,
cloudy and dark.
We have a packed show today. We have a lot of stuff that we didn't got to get to. There's a lot of stuff we're not even going to get to. There was a lot of news this week, and I think some of my topics got the chopping block. But it feels like the first thing we got to start with is the status of this big, beautiful bill. Do we want to start with what's in it, or do we want to start with the likelihood of it actually getting passed?
I feel like Bill can tell us where this is at because he's plugged in. Bill, where's this at?
So it's gotten out of one committee. The House Ways and Means Committee has advanced the bill. It's still got to go through the Budget Committee. I think that markup is today. Speaker Mike Johnson says he wants to get it on the floor sometime next week and pass it. And I think we all know that next Friday is a holiday weekend Friday for Memorial Day. So this will be Mike Johnson's biggest test as Speaker. Can they actually deliver on the promises that Trump ran on, all of which are contained in this big, beautiful bill? And if they can't, it's going to be a very, very rough summer. I think for these Republicans going home, they're going to get much more blowback from Republican voters or Trump voters than they're going to get from Democrats. I don't think they have any idea what they're potentially walking into if they do not pass this bill.
Joe, would Democrats call this the huge, horrific bill?
We'll take that out for a spin in the focus groups. It's not about the promises Donald Trump is keeping. It's about the ones he's breaking. He said that he would not cut Medicaid, that he would leave that program alone. And the latest CBO estimate is that 20 million Americans will lose health coverage. You know what that does, folks? It makes your health care cost more, because just because the funding goes away doesn't mean the needs go away. It means that the needs become more expensive to address in emergency rooms. This was supposed to be the president who was going to be about American homegrown energy, and instead they're going to phase out tax credits that are turbocharging American homegrown independent energy sources like wind and solar. And so that's some of the problematic stuff that's in the bill. And the bigger challenge is they're nowhere near a deal even within the Republican conference. They still haven't figured out the SALT deduction. Mm-hmm. You've got some Republican members in vulnerable districts who are very nervous about these Medicaid cuts. And you have folks like Senator Josh Hawley who are saying, no way, we're not doing
about
this.
It in the New York Times.
And so even if, and I am very skeptical that the House version passes before Memorial Day, but even if it does, the Senate version is going to be very different. And then there would have to be a conference. So this is just the first of at least 3 steps here. And the fact that they are having this degree of difficulty in just getting the House in order does not bode well for this getting done by the end of summer.
Bill, what do you make of Senator Ron Johnson's comments? I think we have a little bit of audio that we'll try to play at some point here. But I mean, he's come out and said, look, this is just adding to our federal deficit, that we cannot afford to keep doing this.
I think Joe is right about the process. There's going to be 3 steps to this. The House will pass their version. The Senate will pass their version, and both will be led by Republicans. Make no question about that. And then there'll have to be a conference. My guess is the versions will be dramatically different. There are more fiscal hawks, I would argue, in the Senate, like Ron Johnson, who want to see a real reduction in the deficit. I'm not sure they're going to see a major reduction in the deficit. I agree with them on that point. I mean, that's certainly where we ought to be striving towards. But with the slim margin in the House, it's going to be difficult to get as much progress as he's looking for in one bill. I'd play the long game if I were Senator Johnson. Let's get as much as we can get in this bill and live to fight another day on the second reconciliation later this year.
If they can't come to some agreement, House and Senate, get positive votes for Republicans, what happens? What's the change that happens to actually get something done at some point this year?
Oh, they'll get an agreement. Joe's a fair point. He's probably going to win the bet that this doesn't get done by the 4th of July, but they'll get an agreement. You might remember that the former president Biden's infrastructure bill almost died, and it might have been the end of his presidency had it died, but they found a way to get the votes to get it done. I think Mike Johnson and John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, understand that failure is not an option for them. I had a very high-ranking Republican say to me at an event this week, and it was a super point. He said he was waiting for someone to stand up on the House floor and give an Act 10 speech. And I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, I'm waiting for, a courageous Republican to say, I'm willing to potentially lose my seat and this majority to put the country on the right track. We need more Republicans like that in Congress right now that are a little less worried about their own seat and their own reelection and a little more worried about doing what's right.
More? How about any bill?
I was going to say, what is the right track? Which right track are we talking about?
Move the president's agenda forward. 77 million people supported it.
And this is where they're falling short, though. We are 120 days into President Trump's term, and he has signed 5 laws. Right? 5 pieces of legislation that have actually gone through regular order. And other than the Lake and Riley Act, I can't even tell you what the other 4 are. I mean, I can't either.
And I think they're the fewest in 50 years.
Right.
Maybe 60.
He's got 6 money-making schemes for himself, which is more than he has bills he signed into law. So when the longer this goes on, the more you see the breakdown of the usual order and the more that Trump is going to try to do by executive order or fiat, which Bill has said over and over again. That means they're impermanent by design, and so you're just going to continue to see chaos and uncertainty, and that's not healthy for the economy or for America.
All right. Well, speaking of money-making schemes, when we come back, let's talk about the Middle East trip and the big, beautiful plane that might be coming to be Trump Force One. Stay with us on Point Taken.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi, and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, What's Up Engineering and Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park.
Give your liver the support it needs with Active Liver. Go to newnordicusa.com. Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
The leader in the dugout, the skipper, the man who riles up the crew with his words of inspiration.
You mean my old ass? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's our guy. Brewers manager Pat Murphy joins Wisconsin's Morning News every Tuesday at 8:45 for Brewers 360.
We're a team that the other team's going to feel us. You know, you're not going to walk away from a series and not be felt. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Can you see yourself voting for this big, beautiful bill at all?
Not in the current structure, no. Yeah, I refuse to vote for something that's going to actually increase the deficits, exacerbate the problem from the current situation. Again, we shouldn't be talking about this right now. We should have been doing all the work. Like I say, multi-step process. We'd already have the border funding. We'd have defense. We'd have $850 billion of real savings banked already.
That is the aforementioned Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, saying on the current format, which is what Bill basically said, he would not support it. I'll give him one thing. He's consistent on the federal deficit. It's the first time I ever met him, God, more than a dozen years ago, he was talking about that issue, and it's risen significantly since. And this bill, this big, beautiful bill, as it's been described by some people, adds to the deficit significantly. So let me just see where this goes. All right. The President of the United States, while all that's happening here, has been touring the Middle East. Lavish, opulent receptions. Getting a free plane of a $400 million jet that we're going to make into the next Air Force One if he gets his way.
No, we're not.
We're not going to?
Here's the thing. Like, this plane has been on the market since 2020.
That was what I just learned.
It's actually hilarious that they're like,
it's an unwanted plane.
yeah, nobody wants it. And the notion that this is going to be used as Air Force One is a joke.
Because wouldn't it cost like $600 million to actually
At least.
refurbish to be at the level it needs to be
Air Force
in order
One
to be safe?
Is like the most technologically advanced thing in the world. The amount of like defensive measures that are built in, its ability to stay airborne in perpetuity.
But also like during a nuclear war,
Yes.
right? Like if that becomes the command center if there's nuclear war.
All right, I already know what you guys are going to say. I want to hear what Bill has to say about this. Bill, what do you think?
So, listen, let's talk about the trip. The trip was phenomenal.
Bill doesn't want to talk about the plane? That's weird.
Oh, no, we're going to get to the plane. And I'm actually going to share your view on that. But the trip started with the release of Edon Alexander, who had been a hostage since October 7th of 2 years ago. And he's the last American living hostage released, and we didn't have to give pallets of cash or release other bad people. We negotiated that deal and got that guy released. That was how the trip started. And then it continued with $2 billion of additional investments, trillion, not billion, from Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia, Arab Emirates, and Qatar. On the plane itself, I don't think the president should take that plane, even though it's going to the Department of Defense or wherever it's going. It doesn't look right. I think it's a bad optics for him. I understand that it may be legal, and he's defended it. I originally thought it was a joke. James Wigderson and I had some argument offline about that, and I said that's not a true story. It turns out it was a true story, but I don't think that the president should take the plane. I think it's very, very bad optics. I think what he should do is light a fire under Boeing. They got a contract, your listeners should know this, to build 2 new Air Force Ones in 2019. It's 2025. We are 6 years past the letting of that contract, which is a funny term for awarding of the contract. We still have no planes, and they might be 3 years out. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He just brought back $160 billion in business for Boeing from Saudi Arabia alone. They should make this a priority and finish the 2 planes they were given the contract for 6 years ago.
Yeah, some poor leadership at Boeing, starting with Dave Calhoun and others who have led that company since. The other thing that I wanted to get your thoughts on, Bill, are the sort of the change in attitude breaking the ice with the country of Syria. What do you make of that?
Well, we got to try something different. The things we've been doing for most of my adult life haven't worked in the Middle East, and I think we got a glimpse of the Trump doctrine. And I know Joe and I are going to vehemently disagree on this. I mean, what he talked about in Saudi Arabia on the first day of the trip was world peace. Peace for peace. We're done with endless wars. We're done with nation building. We're going to use our might, our strength, our power, and our economic might to bring peace across the globe. I'm for that. I think that's a big part of what got Trump elected in November. We're done with these forever wars, and there are a lot of Republicans in Congress and probably even listening to the show who still like that model. It never worked. It didn't work when Bush did it, Bush 41. It didn't work when Bush 43 did it. Trump is trying something different. I give him credit. So far, the response has been pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we're waving the white flag. I mean, he's calling the Houthis the tough hombres and walking away from. Remember the Signal Gate whole scandal that was about launching airstrikes against the Houthis who were targeting American installations and military personnel. He's standing next to and talking about how handsome people are who have been funding jihadi efforts. He is making deals with governments who have supported financially these protests that your party pretends to be pissed off about, but apparently that only extends to college students here on a visa who write an op-ed they disagree with, and kids who are exercising their constitutionally protected right to free speech, but the people who are funding that, we got no problem standing next to them, posing for holy pictures, and taking a $440 million bribe. Give me a break. Of course we want peace, Bill, but you can't just be like, oh, cool, you guys gave me a plane? I guess we're good now. This is nonsense.
It's sort of the same argument.
Is beyond nonsense. You're smarter than that. Come on.
It's sort of the same argument as when Trump aligns himself with Vladimir Putin. At some points, those of us who have been studying these things, looking at these stories over the years, talking about all these issues, understand that those aren't nice people.
Correct.
But
you can't be friends with.
And
some
this
of
is
these
just
people.
what it comes back to, as far as, and this was we saw it in the first administration, as far as there is an admiration almost that it seems like Trump has for authoritarians.
Yeah.
Instead of and the way that they run their countries. I mean, there were so many different sound bites this week as far as how much he likes these guys.
Right.
And,
MBS, who
and
ordered
it is such a
journalist.
shift. It's such a shift as far as what our relationship is with people who have been our allies.
Yeah, what part of the Obama or Biden or even Bush doctrine on foreign policy worked? What part?
Well, let's look at it this way. The Iran deal, JCPOA.
Come on, Mr. P.
They still don't have a nuclear weapon, but they're closer now because Trump walked away from JCPOA
No,
the
bullshit.
first time.
They're not going to get a nuclear weapon, and you know that.
All right, on that moment.
What part of those doctrines work? None of them.
Let's take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. This is Point Taken.
Hey, this is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi. Don't miss Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium on Wednesday, June 4th at Elmbrick Church in Brookfield from 8:30 to 3 p.m. This is a free and fun event for older adults 55 plus that celebrates active aging, featuring speakers like John McGivern and Jennifer Bartolotta, exhibitors, goat yoga, speed friending, raffles, food, music, and much more. Make the day your own. Pre-register at enjoylifesymposium.com. That's enjoylifesymposium.com.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors ranked first among all home improvement projects. To see Geiss's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geissdoors.com. Geiss has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geiss at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geiss. Visit them online at geissdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands.
While you may take pride in seeing double,
You must be seeing things.
that can make it pretty hard to hit our stuff.
Mears throws. Struck him out swinging. Mears goes 1, 2, 3 through the Mets in the 7th.
The Brewers host the Twins for a 3-game series.
Time to stretch in Milwaukee.
This series is sponsored by Woodman's. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:35. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
All right, everybody's taking a breath. We're going to move on to a more...
Bill did promise vehement disagreement in his defense.
I think it originally said violently, and then he amended that.
I did because we're going to talk about Comey, so I wanted to.
Well, we are going to talk about Comey
bit.
after the in the next half hour. But first, let's talk about a local story. The new NPS superintendent has been making some moves. I think most recently this week There was another 31 administrative positions that she has axed from the central office. There's moves to get people who are in the central office to be in schools. There's people reapplying for their jobs. And, I've never worked in a school. I haven't worked in any kind of administrative education system. But as far as not just coming in and having the status quo be her operating, coming into a new position, I think this is a good thing, although it doesn't seem like the teachers union is very happy about it.
So big surprise there. Bill, this is a great start for the new superintendent.
Yeah, you and I are in agreement on that, Steve. I've been critical of MPS, and I think with good reason, for a long time about what goes on in the classroom and the poor performance of the students there for literally decades. I think this new superintendent, I have not met her yet. I give her huge props for what she's been able to do right out of the gate. She moved 40 teachers from the administration building, why they were ever there, I'm not sure, back into the classroom. A+ for that. Then she moved 30 support staff out of admin into the classroom or into the schools. A+ for that. Those are things that had to be done. I mean, the next phase is she's working on implementing the science of reading in MPS, which is critical. And by the way, it's state law, but MPS is one of the late adopters of all these things. When you have minority kids that are reading at less than 10% proficiency, that's unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to any listener to this program today, regardless of your political background, your race, your gender, any of that. It's unacceptable as a society. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because I think her first two moves have been genius, long overdue, and will make a difference in student performance long term. Obviously, I was not surprised to see the teachers union fighting against it at the school board meeting the other night. I'm not sure what their argument could have possibly been, but stick with it, new superintendent. You're doing the right thing.
From the heat of disagreement to the heat of agreement, I think trust but verify. I mean, that she's off to a very good, strong start. I hope this works. There are no guarantees that it will. And the one thing that I would one note of caution is when you're moving administrative staff out, you do have to make sure that reporting and requirements that you need to meet, which can lead to financial problems, can be a thing. So this is a good start, but you also got to make sure the finances are tight.
All right, good start to the show. That much closer to the weekend, at least for me. All right, I cannot wait to this weekend. Trust me. Brewers et al. All right, so we got some Comey stuff going on that we all want to talk about. We'll do that after the break. We, of course, got local news with Connie Weber. And also, by the way, real quick, only got 5 seconds. Our new podcast, You Need to Listen, launched this morning. Check it out. It's really, really good. Kristin swears on it. All right, local news with Connie Weber. Here's the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, no substantial progress made in peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. At discussions in Istanbul, the Russians said to have presented new demands, including a lot of Ukrainian territory that Ukraine flat out rejected. President Trump not there for the talks, and ABC's Ian Panel in Istanbul says
he is the one who holds sway, holds influence directly with Vladimir Putin and also with President Zelensky. In some senses, you kind of have both sides playing this diplomatic game of trying to appeal to the United States rather than seriously dealing with each other.
The president now headed back to Washington from his Middle Eastern tour. He has been talking with European leaders on Air Force One. Engineers and management at New Jersey Transit sitting down to bargain again, but not till Sunday. This morning, thousands of commuters found themselves without a way into work because of the engineers' strike. Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura cross-examined on what's likely her last day on the witness stand in his sex trafficking trial. This is ABC News.
Connie Weber. Power outages continue in southeast Wisconsin, impacting schools including Cedar Hills Elementary and Oak Creek. The Milwaukee High School of the Arts has a delayed start at 11:30 a.m. after a power outage there. Bus driver in custody after alleged misconduct with a minor in Pewaukee. The 62-year-old man turned himself into police on Wednesday after an investigation and review of the video from his Go Right Way bus the day before. Police say the alleged criminal activity happened on the bus, not on school grounds or properties. The driver immediately suspended and charges are pending. What was thought to be gunfire prompted a heavy police response in downtown Milwaukee Thursday. Mayor Cavalier Johnson and Milwaukee police say there is no evidence of a shooting or shots fired after City Hall and the Zeidler Municipal Building were put on lockdown. Afterward, they say it may have been a slammed door that was mistaken for a gunshot. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 34 points, 42,357. The Nasdaq up 14 at 19,126. The S&P 500 up 9 points at 5,926. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. The exit to Silver Spring Drive from I-41 South is closed because of an incident there. There are delays in that area. I-94 East at the ramp from Mitchell Boulevard, right shoulder they're blocked due to a broken down vehicle. And another one off right, I-94 West, about a mile and a third beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's going to be partly cloudy, windy, and warm today with a chance again of evening and afternoon showers and storms. High today of 80. The chance of showers goes north overnight. Mostly cloudy, windy, low 52. Slight chance of rain again north on Saturday, high 64. Sunny but cooler on Sunday, highs 57 to 65. Chance of afternoon and evening showers on Monday, high 53 lakeside, 60 inland, and a chance of rain again on Tuesday, highs 53 to 58. Right now, Madison 71, 73 in Green Bay, and in Milwaukee we have 70 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
Okay, adventurers, listen up. Fox World Travel just dropped some seriously incredible Fox Group vacation destinations for 2026. Set sail on a yacht through the Croatian coastline, join a thrilling African safari, or immerse yourself in the mecca of all flower shows in London. And for the first time, we're introducing a woman's-only tour, partnering with Insight Vacations, Globus, and African Travel. But these are just a few of the exclusive offerings. But don't wait. They're filling up fast. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to reserve your spot today.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Kick off your summer right with big seasonal savings at Fleet Farm. Kingsford 16-pound 2-packs of charcoal briquettes are just $17.99. Suffolk's braided fishing line is only $7.99 a spool. And get a free $25 gift card with every $100 you spend on select Columbia apparel and footwear. For more of the hottest summer specials at the best prices guaranteed, stop by your local Fleet Farm or check out our weekly ad at fleetfarm.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Happy Friday, everybody. Yes, it is Friday. That means Bill McCoshen on the road, Joseph Pecky in studio. Bill, when are you coming back to us in studio? Do we know?
Next Friday.
All right.
We
in
have
a month.
We have a commitment. And I say that in jest because we appreciate you. You know, I know you're busy and you're doing a lot of things. The fact that you're still here for us, we appreciate that. All right. So this investigation now, because James Comey posted an Instagram picture of 8647. Was it spelled out in coins or shells? What was
Shells.
Shells. Okay.
Shells on a beach. And it doesn't even seem like it's not like he made it.
No,
he
didn't
came
make
across
it. He said he came across it. Now, the president of the United States has interpreted that as kill Trump. So, President 47, 86, as Joel was telling us during the break, essentially means nix or get rid of. I
Like an 86 in a food order.
Food order. It's like for people who've worked in restaurants, that is nomenclature in restaurants to be like, 86, the pork belly, because we're out of it.
I think it goes beyond restaurants, but I don't want to argue that point. Anyway, Trump said in an interview on Fox, Comey knew exactly what that meant. Bill, what do you make of that story?
So the listeners got to hear me pretty passionate 5 minutes ago, and Joe and I disagreeing on a topic, and that would be the extent of Joe and I's disagreements. The level it would rise to. It would never rise above that, right? I don't believe in political violence. I don't think the three of you believe in political violence in any way, shape, or form, and I also don't believe in promoting it. I think James Comey is a narcissist, full stop. But I also think he knows what 8647 meant. The notion that he would post that and say he found this cool, quote unquote cool arrangement on the beach is ridiculous. The guy was seeking attention for himself. He knew what it meant. He's the former director of the FBI. How could he not know what that meant? I mean, just a little bit of judgment. I mean, he confirmed for me again why Trump fired him. What an idiot. I mean, why would you do that? And my guess is the Secret Service has already been to his house today. Do I think he meant kill the president? I don't know, but it's a signal to people who are on the fringes that that's okay. If somebody like James Comey can say that, maybe it's okay. It's not okay. It's never okay for either side to do that. And if you have people on your fringe and both sides do, you got to find a way to measure them out or level them out rather than firing them up.
Joe, before you jump in and say it doesn't mean anything or it's being over-exaggerated or maybe the investigations by Homeland Security and Secret Service are just a waste of time, it's something he shouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty stupid and pointless, but it's also someone's social media, and that sort of applies to almost everything that people put on social media.
So that makes it good?
But no, I just don't see the point.
Well, here's the thing. So if you Google image search 8647, which I just did to try to find what the shells looked like. You can order on Amazon
and Etsy and other Ranger
8647 anti-Trump funny sweatshirt.
Right.
And the description says, what does 86 mean? It means to eject, bar, kick out, or impeach someone.
Yeah, and so like for example, I got random stuff banging around this head, including that like the police response code for the killing of a law enforcement officer is a 187. Right, and so you've heard in rap songs and hip hop music for years, lyrics about 187 on an undercover cop. So to me, there's something like 187 is actually an indication of violence against a law enforcement officer. When I see 86, I don't jump to that is a call for political violence, and I think so. The question you then have to ask is why are Trump and Trump supporters jumping to this must be what that means when for months this has been a thing on TikTok when there is widely available commercial like products that have this on it where they love to play the victim and they love to target who they perceive as their political enemies by using the power of the state. And James Comey was literally on like the Kash Patel enemies list. So they are looking for any excuse or opportunity.
So why
to
give
go
it to him then?
I don't disagree with that. James Comey should know better. But if this was not James Comey calling for the assassination of Donald Trump, like, come on.
I just think people got to be smarter with this
in his apology, he acknowledges he knew it was a political statement. So that in and of itself would say, why did he post it? What was he thinking?
Does he not get the right to free political speech in this country? Right? I mean, like that's the thing. Is like it's speech that is not
in a
calling
different
for
category.
violence.
And I don't know.
Anybody know if he has the new book coming out? Does he have another book coming out? Is that what's happening here?
Well, that might explain it.
I gotta rib my buddy Bill here, though. We're gonna go after James Comey for being a narcissist, but we're just gonna continue to let Donald Trump off the hook.
Oh, I knew that was
coming.
Come on, man. I knew that was coming.
We're winning, brother. Hashtag winning. We're never gonna get sick of winning.
Well, the next topic is another guy who hopes he will be winning in 2028, and he's
Good
certainly
luck.
buttoning some stuff up to. Joe looked at me and goes, who we're talking about? We were talking about the governor of California and some of his new policies. So stay with us on Point Taken.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. For more than 8 years, QC Kinetics has been the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. You heard that right. Non-surgical relief. More than 50,000 patients who had knee pain, back pain, now living pain-free. Those with shoulder and hip pain, it's gone. The regenerative cell therapy restores tissues in your achy joints. Dr. Caravelli's team uses biologic growth factors with robust healing properties carefully and strategically placed in your joint. And there's no surgery. Remember that. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing the old tissue. Here's what you do. You call today, 414-285-3474, 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
This time, that station will make your ad. Next time, another station will come up with it. If there's one thing your small budget needs, it's consistency with your message and your media buy. It's easy to buy the flavor of the month. It's difficult to trust a plan because you'd probably be experimenting. Our plans have been proven to work. We'll get you the lowest rates, give you a consistent message that sets your business apart, and then we'll build you efficient top-of-mind awareness. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. We'll make your ads potent, memorable, and effective. Whether it's radio, TV, billboards, or digital, our understanding of the market and long-standing relationships are unmatched. Anderson Smith represents a substantial amount of advertising billing, which will benefit you in getting much more for your ad dollar. Our compensation model is designed to make it affordable for businesses like yours to use us. And we hold on to our clients because what we do works, and they trust us. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results.
Do you love the simplicity and enduring quality of Scandinavian design? Then the Fjords factory-sponsored sale at Ken Michaels Furniture is for you. Inspired by tradition and built to last, Fjords brings the best of modern Norwegian design to your home. Save 20% on these ergonomic recliners and sofas engineered with comfort in mind. Available with manual or power options. Stop in today and save 20% on Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown factory showroom. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double-check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family-owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
Point taken. Steve Scaffidi. I am Kristin Brey. And of course, it's Friday, so we are here with Joe Zepecki in the studio, and Bill McCoshen is on the phone. And California Governor Gavin Newsom has been toughening up some stances on a variety of issues. Most recently, he is now talking about having stricter spending when it comes to Medicaid for undocumented immigrants. He has also had a tougher stance recently on what cities should be doing with homeless encampments. And the question, of course, is raised, is this for a potential run, or is this because he's actually changed his mind and wants new policy when it comes to some of these social issues?
Joe, you're the Democrat. What do you think?
Sorry, I'm just over here trying to make a dinner reservation for my wife and I. Gavin Newsom's not going to be president.
That's what I feel like. But do you think he's going to run?
Probably. This feels very Mitt Romney-ish to me. And what I mean by that is, so Mitt Romney was one type of Republican when he ran for and then governed the state of Massachusetts. And then in order to become the nominee of his party, he had to change who he was to fit the moment. And so when that happens, it becomes less about, are you aligning policy-wise, and more about, do people believe you are authentic and credible? And I think he always struggled with that. And these moves by Newsom are reminiscent of that to me, where he is trying to like change who he is politically in a way that I've never seen work in American politics.
So it couldn't be that maybe a Democrat who's the leader of a large state says, maybe some of our ideas are outdated as far as democratic policy. Maybe we sort of move toward the middle a little bit. Maybe that's part of it.
Maybe that is part of it, but here's what I'd say. I would be more likely to believe that if you said that about Jared Polis, who knows that he's never going to be president of the United States and is governor of Colorado, for example, right? If Tony Evers were to try to do some of that, because Tony knows he's never going to be president of the United States. Gavin Newsom is someone who, from the time he was elected mayor of San Francisco, has been on a track and a path, and everyone has said, like, he's going to run for president someday, he's going to be president someday. And so I think at this moment in our politics, one of the worst things you can be is a politician. The only way out of that box is to be an authentic, credible, believable politician, and politicians who change their stripes don't do as well as those who remain committed to something, whether you agree with it or not, like, say, Bernie Sanders.
I was
right?
going to ask,
like
who's your example?
Right, like a lot of us may disagree with Sanders on some policy things. Others have come to embrace more of them, but like Bernie Sanders has been the same person throughout his political life, and it's why even though he doesn't look the part of a president or sound like one, he still has a passionate following. I don't know, Bill, tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. I agree with everything you said. I think authenticity is crucial for someone considering public office. I don't want to say a politician because I think it's more likely the Democrats nominate someone who's not in politics in 2028 than somebody who is. And Newsom is not going to fill the left lane. There will be a Bernie Sanders 2.0, whether that's AOC or someone from the left wing of the party. They'll be in the primaries until the bitter end. But they'll ultimately, if they want to win, find somebody who's more in the center, and that's more likely to be somebody from the outside who's not currently in politics. I think Stephen A. Smith has a better chance of being their nominee than Gavin Newsom does.
I think
let's talk
who likes Stephen A. Smith? I don't know a single person who likes that man besides
voters
himself.
Will like that. He's authentic, and voters like that. Trump's proven that. But the thing that Newsom did this week actually goes back to something Joe said earlier where we do disagree. And that is he's decided that illegals are no longer going to be eligible for Medicaid in California. The three states who have the most illegals on the Medicaid rolls, this was allowed under the Biden administration, are Illinois, California, and New York. 1.4 million of these people are going to, quote unquote, lose their coverage, are illegals. They're not U.S. citizens. So, yes, that is going to happen as part of the big, beautiful bill. And Newsom's trying to get some credit for it when it's bankrupting their state, it's bankrupting Illinois, and it's causing huge financial burden in New York. He's the first one to figure that out.
I agree completely that he's flipped. But you guys forget history. Almost every major politician in this country on both sides has changed their mind on every major issue and policy question in the last 20 or 30 years. Like, what world are you living in?
What do you mean?
On immigration, they used to be Democrats were tough on immigration. Then they weren't. So, like, what world are you living in where people don't change their minds?
But also, is it a bad thing to change your mind?
He's also 57 years old.
Is it the motivation of why you're changing your mind that we're skeptical of versus, I learned more information or this is working or not working?
Since you asked, I'll give you, as we go to break, since you asked, it's a Democrat saying, you know what, maybe we're out of step with what the American people think. Maybe I should re-educate myself and reevaluate our policies. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. I'm never voting for the guy.
Gavin 2028 sounds like Steve's on board.
I love that.
But what are you guys talking about? He's 57 years old. You can't dismiss him as he's not going to be a factor. He's going to run for president. And in the crazy mixed up world of politics in this country, he's got a good a chance as anybody. Matter of fact, Taylor Swift probably has a good chance.
And my political analysis is he has far less of a chance than you think he does.
My goodness.
I'm with you on that, Joe.
I didn't think this was what was going to get Steve rolling. Holy cow.
He's 57 years old.
I love it.
The dude's got a lot of living left to do, God willing. All right, 10:51, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, Milwaukee, the sale you've been waiting for is finally here. WTMJ's John Mercure here telling you that Kohl's is offering huge limited-time savings on furniture, appliances, and mattresses during their Memorial Day weekend sale. Right now, Kohl's takes 60% off plus an extra 10% off furniture and mattresses. That's right, 60 plus 10 on sofas, sectionals, dining sets, outdoor furniture. I just shopped at Kohlder's. Stack these two incredible discounts and save on everything you need to get your home ready for summer. Kohlder's also offering exclusive Memorial Day prices on appliances. Take an extra 5% off their already unbeatable deals on all your favorite brands like Samsung, LG, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, etc. Kohlder's has been trusted by the Milwaukee community for over 83 years for 3 reasons. Better selection, better experience, best value guaranteed. Shop the Memorial Day weekend sale in-store at one of their 4 locations. With extra 10% off regular and clearance furniture and mattresses, 5% off regular appliances, in-store and online from May 16th through May 26th.
Step up to quality furniture. Get more for your money at Golders.
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Amish outdoor furniture with poly and wood available. And that poly is the richest of outdoor furniture. It's just about indestructible and will virtually last forever. At Erickson's, we have poly furniture in abundance, so you're guaranteed to see a great selection. The beauty of it is you can put it outside all year round and not worry about it, because the color runs all the way through, so it doesn't fade, and minor nicks and scratches won't hurt the look. Erickson's Landscape Supply. For an abundant selection of poly and wood Amish outdoor furniture, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better selection of metal yard art than we have here at Erickson's. Anything from natural and painted metal signs to painted roosters from 1 to 6 feet tall. Natural steel flying ducks and cattails. Cute little frogs, geckos, pigs, flamingos, and goats. And palm trees. The list is endless. And that's why you come here. Erickson's Landscape Supply, right on Spring Street in Union Grove, where you'll find a fantastic array of artisanal metal yard art. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Or better yet, drive on over and take a gander at the goods.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burkhart.
Hey, check us out, Wisconsin. We have got you covered on Experience Wisconsin. We've got a great show coming up this week. I love what we do here. We spin you around the state, take you to the people and places and things that are happening that make Wisconsin so super special. On this week's show, which, by the way, is Saturdays at 1 on WTMJ, we've got a triple header for you. Kenosha, Sheboygan, and Lake Geneva. Fun on the water, fun on the land, hotels and restaurants. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 on WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, well, this is going to be the political power 90 minutes because Joe and Bill are sticking around past the top of the hour news for another half hour. Lucky us. But this is my opportunity as a woman who is the only woman on this show. But, there's not always a ton of women on political talk radio. And I don't know if you guys would choose this topic if I wasn't here. So I'm going to take the opportunity before we go to the break to let everyone know about this is some of the stories that we're going to keep hearing if we keep going down the path of abortion bans. In Atlanta, Georgia right now, there's a 30-year-old woman who is legally, she's dead. She's being kept alive because she's on life support because she is 9 weeks pregnant. Because the ban in Georgia right now, when it comes to abortions, said the medical staff at this hospital will not take her off life support despite her family's wishes because she is 9 weeks pregnant. Now, is the state paying for the medical bills to keep this woman alive? Absolutely not. Makes me sick to my stomach that this is where we're at and this is what families have to go through. And she's 9 weeks pregnant. This baby is not even close to viability. It's going to be at least 2 more months of her being on life support for this fetus to even have a chance. And even then, probably will never see, will never walk. And this is what we're doing. And I don't know. And Billy, I would love if you have a defense for this, if any of you have a defense for this, because this is horrific.
I agree with your conclusion. It doesn't make sense. As I read through the Georgia law, it appears to be an exception for the life of the mother after the 6 week. They have a 6 week ban, meaning you can have an abortion up through the first 6 weeks. A lot of women don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. I'm not a woman, but I do know that. So I'm not sure why that didn't kick in this instance. This was an outlier for sure. You try and draft legislation to include all potential contingencies. They clearly missed on this one because it doesn't make sense to me why this woman would be kept alive while she's still pregnant. She may or may not end up delivering that baby. Nobody knows. I don't know if there's a case in history where someone has delivered it while they're brain dead. So I don't know. I think this is one that could be challenged in the courts, and they would be allowed to let her go, let her pass peacefully. Doesn't make sense to me. I do support, and I've said it on the show many times, the Dobbs decision that allows states to have their own rules. I think that is how it should be. I think each state should be able to define their direction like they do on all criminal cases. Not every state has the death penalty. Wisconsin does not. Right now, Wisconsin has a 20-week ban based on previous court decisions. The current Supreme Court may reduce that. They may choose to reduce that substantially over the next 6 weeks. We'll see.
All right. Well, I have things to say, but we got to go to the top of the hour news. We will have more with Joe and Bill and Steve and me, Kristin, on Point Taken on WTMJ.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original knowledge broker, R&R Insurance. Joining us today, Jeff Salasinski, Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, let's talk about what's coming down the road. What issues you're paying attention to these days?
Sure, Vince. Thank you. Great to be here today. While results were generally good for insurance companies last year, you've heard me talk about increasing costs in auto insurance, general liability insurance, and umbrella insurance.
Yeah, why is that? What do you think's going on there?
Legal system abuse is becoming more prominent here in the Midwest, and this is driving increased litigation and increased legal costs that come with more litigation.
Legal system abuse, what's that look like?
We see two factors driving much of this concern, Vince. Number one, incredible frequency and messaging of attorney advertising, promoting large verdicts, making these huge numbers seem more common than they actually are. And secondly, third-party litigation funding, which is outside capital, a private lender providing funds to plaintiffs and their law firms to pursue lawsuits. These third parties have no role in the actual case itself. They were not injured. They have money, and they're funding the litigation as an investment.
So, Jeff, why should a business or family work with R&R Insurance?
At R&R Insurance, we understand complex, dynamic issues like third-party litigation funding and how these issues impact businesses and families. We understand how to best protect your company assets or your personal assets, and R&R has been on top of issues like this on behalf of our clients for almost 50 years. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience, we'd love to sit down and speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Save big on your landscaping project at Menards. We're your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. Whether you're installing a patio or adding a new retaining wall, we have the largest in-stock selection ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates fast using our landscape design program in store or on Menards.com. Save big on landscape blocks when you shop at Menards. And check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The Brewers are back in town for the other I-94 series.
Contreras fly ball deep right field. This is way, way back. Watch this baby fly. Goodbye.
Our coverage against the Twins starts tonight at 6 with Brewers warm-up on your home for the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:01, we're at 72 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy, windy, and warm with a chance for another afternoon or evening thunderstorm. High today of 80 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Assessing the damage in Dodge County after Thursday's severe storms.
We have to go structure by structure to assess, the level of damage and then give an idea of what the wind speeds we think occurred there.
And that's National Weather Service meteorologist Tim Hallbach. He tells Wisconsin's Morning News.
So it looked like it's mainly on the north side of the city of Juneau here. What we do when we do these surveys is we go up and down the entire path to try to determine where the damage started and where it ended. So just here on the north side of town is where we're running into some of the damage.
So far in 2025, 7 tornadoes reported in Wisconsin. We'll have your WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. Mistaken gunshots prompted a heavy police response in downtown Milwaukee Thursday.
I think that somebody was terminated and must have been, disappointed by that news, and perhaps slammed a door one or multiple times, and that created a loud noise.
Mayor Cavalier Johnson and Milwaukee police say there is no evidence of a shooting or shots fired after City Hall and the Zeidler Municipal Building were placed on lockdown. Alderman Lamont Westmoreland is now criticizing the lack of security checkpoints at the City Hall complex, saying in a statement, quote, "It is far too easy for anyone to walk into either of these buildings with their weapon of choice," unquote. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Governor Phil Murphy expected to give an update soon in regard to the New Jersey Transit train engineers strike that started at midnight. Engineers walked off the job, bringing train service to a halt and leaving 350,000 daily commuters scrambling for other options. Sticking point is wages. Cassie Ventura, Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend, back on the witness stand today in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial against him. Ventura told jurors about the toxic relationship she was in with Combs. Prosecutors painted Combs as a violent person who forced Ventura to participate in his freak-offs. ABC's Aaron Katersky covering the trial.
Ventura said she was trying to escape one of those alleged drug-fueled sex performances in 2016 at a Los Angeles hotel when Combs was caught on security camera throwing her down and kicking her. The defense said that encounter was her idea, showing a text message from days earlier. "Baby, I want to F.O. so bad." "You proposed a freak-off," a defense attorney said. "You kept asking him."
It's being called a medical breakthrough gene therapy that allows doctors to correct errors in a DNA sequence which could reverse life-threatening diseases and medical conditions. In Philadelphia, doctors successfully performed the therapy on a child, KJ, who was diagnosed with a rare disorder called CPS1 deficiency. More from ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula.
As a physician, the greatest thing is this changed the conversation from doctors walking into a room of this family and saying, "Would you like to make your child comfort measures, end-of-life care," to now being able to give this family and this baby hope and a new life.
News is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Visit them at flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play. Time now for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 42 points. The Nasdaq up 26. The S&P 500 is up 12. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:04.
Does music matter to you? Flanners Home Entertainment wants to help you have the best music experience at home. They've got high-quality products, the best prices, and high-fidelity expertise for the best sound in and outside your home. Now is a great time to shop Flanners with their Music Matters sale event. All speakers, all amplifiers, receivers, turntables, CD players, music streamers, and accessories are on sale. Visit Flanners Home Entertainment today in West Allis, Grafton, or at flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Flanners. Just press play.
This week on What's on Tap with Sandy Max, we're painting the airwaves. Join us Wednesday, May 21st at 6:15 as we welcome the current artist in residence at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel, Megan Woodard Johnson. Discover how St. Kate supports and celebrates the arts with a once-per-year residency opportunity for artists working in the Midwest. Get acquainted with creativity. Tune in Wednesday and learn more at stkatearts.com.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
It's WTMJ's Brandon Snide for Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. With summer just around the corner, Wisconsin Harley-Davidson is gearing up for another year of riding adventures. Join them May 17th for their annual Bikes, Blessings, and the VFW. Start the summer off with a bike blessing on May 24th. Their annual honor celebration is happening with a ride to Wisconsin Memorial Park to place flags to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Both events will have live music, food, and so much more. For more information, go to WISHD.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers back home to take on the Twins. Milwaukee lost 4 of its 6 games on its recent road trip, now sits at 21-23 on the season. Brewers announced the team's game against the Marlins July 25th will serve as a 25th anniversary celebration of American Family Field. Team hopes to have at least one player from each season the team has played at the ballpark. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We still have that exit to Silver Spring Drive from I-41 South closed because of an incident there. There is a backup to the south. I-94 East at the ramp from Mitchell, right shoulder there blocked due to a broken down vehicle. And another one off right. I-94 West about 1 1/3 miles beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy, windy, and warm today with a chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms. High today of 80. That chance for rain continues up north overnight. Mostly cloudy, windy, low 52. Slight chance of showers again to the north on Saturday, high 64. Sunny, cooler on Sunday, 57 lakeside to 65 inland. Partly cloudy with a chance of afternoon and evening showers Monday, highs 53 to 60. And Tuesday again, a chance for showers lingers, mostly cloudy, high 53 lakeside, 58 inland. 75 in Madison, 77 in Green Bay, and 72 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
We're here, as is Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen on the road. All right, I'm going to start with you, Joseph Pecky. So the Supreme Court yesterday, historic arguments, 14th Amendment, having to do with the question of birthright citizenship. Beyond that, there's questions of presidential power and also this fairly recent development of lower courts issuing nationwide injunctions against some of the things that are coming out of the Oval Office in the White House. You can touch on any or all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say our judicial system is not up for reform, right? I think there are things that we should do to make the judicial system work better, specifically on the birthright citizenship case. The right can jump up and down and say, "Oh, Amy Coney Barry is a Brian Hagedorn. We didn't know we were getting." Nonsense. The text of the Constitution is clear. This is a ridiculous exercise that I believe the U.S. Supreme Court will decide right in the end, which is that if you are born here, you are an American citizen. End of story.
How about the power of the president?
I mean, they've given the president way more power than any president ought to have, including basically total immunity.
And will they give him even more power?
My hope is they will rein that in. Over time, when you look at the sweep of history, the court, expands and retracts and changes its take on things. We need to rein in the power of the executive, get back to 3 separate and co-equal branches of
Mr. Power. Bill McCoshen, what do you think?
Oh, none of us are attorneys. What I listened to yesterday on my drive to Minneapolis were a lot of legal experts who thought that this wasn't Trump's strongest case before the Supreme Court on the birthright citizenship. What he's trying to do is say, the original decision was back in the late 1800s, more than 130 years ago, and it had to do with slaves, making sure that slaves' children were considered U.S. children, citizens of the United States. And now fast forward to it was never contemplated that we'd be talking about illegals' kids, but here we are 130 years later. I've never thought that this was a strong case for him. I can't imagine that the United States Supreme Court is going to do away with birthright citizenship. The second part of it, actually, according to these legal experts yesterday, he has other cases that are making their way to the Supreme Court that are far stronger as it relates to judicial powers and the ability of a district judge to have a uniform nationwide injunction. There are other cases that are better than this one, according to these legal experts, for Trump to win on that. I think he will ultimately win on that case. I'm not sure if it'll come through this process.
Bill continues to use the word illegals, and I just want to tell a story about who he's talking about. Also in Georgia, over the last week or so, we've learned there was a young woman who was brought here as an infant by her parents, just missed the cutoff for DACA, the Deferred Action Program, and she was stopped because she didn't have a right turn signal on and was found to be undocumented and was sent hundreds of miles away to an ICE detention center. Turns out, in retrospect, police pulled over the wrong car. She did have her turn signal on, but her vehicle matched a different car that was driving unsafe. This is someone who only knows the United States as their home, who speaks English, who got an education and graduated high school and is working. And we are now detaining her for weeks on end because cops got it wrong. So when you say illegals, Bill, that's some of who you're talking about. And I'm sorry, this is not as clear cut as if you are not, here with every documentation and box checked, you got to go, particularly when they're like luring people to immigration meetings and deporting them. This is nonsense. It's an overcorrection.
Bill, I actually have never asked you this question before. Do you know anyone who's undocumented? Like, do you have anyone in your life who is?
Not that I know of. No.
Do you think it's easier for you to categorize an entire group of people as illegals, which is a kind of a dehumanizing term, because you don't know anyone who has this background?
No, I don't mean it that way, to be dehumanizing. They're not here legally. So by definition, that makes them illegal, correct?
Yeah, but you make it like their entire identity is like the illegals. It's just like, it's like the blacks or like any of these like categorical terms that like put a people like, it reduces them to one aspect of their humanity.
To get improved. I think all of us agree on that. That process needs to get improved.
Oh, totally. I'm just saying, but like language matters, words matter, and I feel like every time you've said it so far on today's show, it is felt like a small cut as far as just reducing people to one aspect of their humanity.
Someone can be undocumented, and that is also an apt description, and perhaps recognizes their humanity.
Whatever word you want to choose, and I don't want people to be dehumanized or hated for what they are or the life they live. But this problem exists because we have not had clear policy on this issue for decades. On both sides of the aisle have screwed this up. So, to make it about one instance that you brought up, or the opposite where somebody comes into the country illegally and kills somebody, we can all find these examples that make a point. But the problem here is we have not fixed this issue. And as long as we don't fix this issue we just say, let's look the other way, look, it doesn't exist as a problem, is stupid.
It's also stupid to deport someone to
I'm
a
not
freaking
disagreeing with
gulag.
you on
and
that.
so you've heard me say,
one case.
You have heard me say.
Also point out the other cases where people are killed by illegals.
You have heard
or whatever
me
term you want to
say
use.
that we need actual immigration reform in this country.
Absolutely.
And what Donald Trump and his administration is doing is more harmful to our broader society and economy and culture than what previous administrations had
Over
done.
the last decades, we've had Democratic presidents. They've had Congress on their side. We've had Republican presidents, and we still sit here today with nothing on the table. So we can argue about the words all we want. It doesn't accomplish anything.
But let's not pretend that what the Trump administration is doing is fixing the system, because it's not.
I didn't say he was. I'm not a Trump supporter, as you know. Quick break here on Point Taken.
From the post-game show to the morning show, there's no rest for baseball and Dominic Cotroneo.
I was like a kid on Christmas Eve. I couldn't sleep last night. I was just so excited to get ready to watch games that count.
Dominic Cotroneo is our Brewers 360 guest every Monday morning at 8:45 on Wisconsin's Morning News.
There are some roster decisions I do want to break down here, and then we'll get into the lineup.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi from Milwaukee Weight Loss. I have done it. I've lost my 40-pound goal. You can do it too. The secret? You lose up to 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors develop easy to follow weight loss program. I could do it. You can do it. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, with no drugs or injections and no risk of serious side effects. None of the gimmicky stuff, the meals, bars, shakes, all of that stuff. You don't have to exercise if you don't want to, but I encourage everyone to get out there and walk. That's good for you and good for anybody. Their program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good. I'm on the program for the next year. Coaches are amazing. Mine's Emily. All our coaches are outstanding. Get this, the program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Look at me. I did it. You can too. Here's what you got to do. Call 262-449-1180 or online. You can find them at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Easy. I did it. Results may vary.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
I think we got 2 more segments. We'll get to grab bag. We always wind it up at grab.
We got breaking news from Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
via Bill McCoshen, but now the lamestream media has weighed in. Kristin, I think it's in front of you now.
It is. The clean energy boot. No, this is the wrong one.
Well, let's let Bill tell us.
Bill, you were the one who broke the news to us. So you, what has happened since the show has started?
I am the font of all news, Kristin.
Speaking of narcissism.
The big beautiful bill has failed today in the House Budget Committee by a 16-21 vote. I don't know if Joe is. I'm not familiar with House rules as well as I should be. I don't believe that means the bill is dead. This version is definitely dead in the Budget Committee, but I think, with a few tweaks, it could come back. And I'm going to talk about this more in the grab bag on my advice for congressional Republicans, because I don't think they have any idea what's coming, the backlash from Republican voters if they do not get this stuff done. But it hit a big snag today. It failed in the House Budget Committee, and we'll see what Speaker Johnson says about that in the next hour, I'd imagine.
That was my question. What does that mean politically for Speaker Johnson?
Well, I'm just going to remind people what my bold prediction for 2025 was, which was that we would have more than one Speaker of the House.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's where you're going to go.
I don't think, this is a big problem getting bigger, not smaller, within the Republican Party. And there is a way to zoom out to 30,000 feet and look at the last 10 years of American politics and believe that Donald Trump is going to be, in retrospect, the end of the Republican Party in any recognizable sense to what it has been throughout its history. Because, yes, President Trump won in 2024. I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying he's not winning in the short term. But in the long run, because he has no actual policy views or core values, because everything is so transactional, because of the way he has led the Republican Party doesn't know what the hell it's for anymore. And so you've got hardline fiscal hawks saying you got to cut. You've got people like Josh Hawley who are no, our party needs to be more populist, so we're going to be more pro-union and we're going to oppose cuts to Medicaid. The Republican Party does not have an identity other than if Trump wants it, we're for it. And that is going to be difficult in the immediate future, as we're seeing with this Budget Committee vote. It's also going to be a long-term problem for the Republican Party.
Bill?
65% of Americans will see a tax increase if they do not extend the 2017 tax cuts. Moreover, working people, I don't know any billionaires who get who work overtime or get tips for what they do. Those two components were wildly popular during the campaign last fall. They are in the big, beautiful bill right now. They impact working people like no one else. And if Republicans can't find a way to get those things done sometime on or before the 4th of July, the backlash is going to be fatal for them politically.
And the Penn Wharton Institute just did an analysis of this entire package. And what they're finding is that while the Republican Party is saying we're populist now, this package is going to hit working families the hardest and be far more beneficial to those at the very top, which gets us right back to where Republicans have run into buzzsaws politically in the past.
He's Joseph Becky, Bill McCoshen, Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi. I love this text. Text line is, as I like to say, hopping. Love this mix on Friday. So many different and quality opinions. We need more conversations like this. And they also threw in our two-party system sucks. Good stuff on the text line.
All right, grab bag when we come back?
Absolutely, grab bag. We'll see what the guys and gals have to talk about. I know what mine is
Singular
already.
gal.
Yeah, gal.
Well,
at least in here. Yeah, at least in here. All right, quick break.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus.
Your showrooms are employee-free.
Give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why?
To save you money.
How much money?
Our 42 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
That's pretty good.
And through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest or Silly Posturepedic mattress in any size and receive a free adjustable base. Plus, free next-day delivery and free financing's available too.
I like the way you do business.
Find the self-service employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. Market chaos 2025. We know about that. Shaking up your retirement planning. Volatility is spiking, and every decision counts. It's easy to stumble, but Annex Wealth Management can help steady the course. Retirement planning blends art and science. Savings and investments matter, but aligning your plan with your goals amid today's turbulence is critical. Annex guides you through the tough calls, when to claim Social Security, whether Roth conversions make sense, or how to navigate tax strategies in a stormy market. As a fee-only fiduciary, Annex puts you first. No commission-driven agendas. Their team of CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys that have met them all tackle your investment, retirement, estate, and tax plans with expertise. Everyone's different, and Annex gets that. As a client, support's just a visit or call away, but it starts with you taking charge. Visit AnnexWealth.com, click on the now famous Get Started button, and start to take control in these volatile times. Remember, AnnexWealthManagement.com.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
I had seen people with bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit OvationHand.com. OvationHand.com.
Spring is in the air, the perfect time to kickstart those home improvement dreams. Hi, Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. They're your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient upgrades. Boost your curb appeal and add real value with top brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. All customized to fit your home and your style. Wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, they've got it all. And their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom is the place to start. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
All right. Since we got most of the politics out of our systems, let's finish up with some grab bags.
All right, let's let Bill go first since he's on the road. Bill, what's your grab bag this Friday?
My grab bag is advice to House Speaker Mike Johnson. Keep them in session. Do not let Republicans go home this weekend. I would turn down the air conditioning, turn up the heat on these guys. Let them hear from their constituents back home. What Republicans are not understanding here, all you have to do is look at Wisconsin. On April 1st, Brad Schimmel got 600,000 fewer votes than Donald Trump did in November. Yes, I know the difference between a November general election and a spring election. There's going to be some level of drop-off. But for 1/3 of Trump voters to stay home means they didn't see the point. If you think you can vote no on these bills and they don't pass and you can go back to your district and get reelected, good luck. Republicans will stay home. You will get defeated in a primary or in the general, your choice. You were sent to Washington to do a job. Do your job.
Orders from Bill McCoshen. Joseph Peck,
I wonder
you're
if he
up.
dialed that up after the budget committee voted it down, or if that was what it was originally
I don't know.
intended to be. Mine's a silly one.
No, that wasn't going to be my grab.
There you go. Asked and answered.
I learned something about myself this week that I'm like kind of amused by and wanted to share. So, you guys know I often wear a backwards baseball cap. I'm maybe not looking at a lot of T-shirts, but as I'm running for state party chair, I've had to kind of go back to like grown-up clothes. And so I've been wearing a sport coat that I really like on the coat as part of the rotation. And I was catching up with an old friend this week. I ran her husband's campaign for the U.S. Senate in 2008. And she was telling me her daughter, who I used to carry around when she was a baby, just went to prom. And I was like, I got to find this photo. And the next day it just popped up as 17 years ago, election night. And I've got this baby on my hip, and I'm wearing one of the jackets I'm still wearing on the campaign trail today.
That's
17
impressive.
years
We gotta
later.
get you shopping.
So,
Don't be shopping.
I ask you, Steve Scaffidi, what's the oldest
No,
sport coat or
you asked me
blazer
this
you?
2
Bill,
years.
you got one?
No, I'll give you this. Good on the weights, bad on the style and fashion. Good job keeping
Steve
it
and I
away.
probably have multiple sizes from 17 years
No,
ago.
I got rid of all my oldest one. I told Joe it's like 2 years old. Oh, my grab bag's quick. My pal, teammate, friend, Kristin Brey is throwing out the first pitch tomorrow. I will be out there with her somewhere around the Mound area. So come on out. It's WTMJ Day.
Yeah.
Are you nervous about your big moment?
Kind of.
They're not going to let you catch?
The
I doubt it.
competitiveness in me is a little bit like I gotta not embarrass myself. So
Oh,
I'm
you'll be
literally
fine.
after
You're
this
an
afternoon.
athlete.
I am an athlete.
You'll be all
And so
right.
that's why, because I'm an athlete, there's a part of me that's like, if I go up there and embarrass myself in front of thousands of people, I'm gonna
you'll be all
never
right.
live it down.
Not gonna
Having
happen.
done it, it's a little daunting, but my advice is just kind of half throw it, because then you're
I'm
gonna.
not trying to throw a strike. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
Just
keep
get
it
it
straight and
I
over
know
the
you
base.
said your father-in-law's helping out. We got gloves at our house.
Okay.
We're 5 minutes away. If you need another session, tomorrow morning,
go warm up the
you
arm.
let us know. We'll
All right.
take care of you.
All right.
You got a 10-second grab bag?
My grab bag. This is some good news. I mean, it's still high, but the new numbers came out for 2024 from deaths from overdoses, and there was a 27% decrease.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that is
Amen,
right? And so as far as the why this is important to fund public health, why it's important to fund initiatives that help everybody. And so I hope that the fight to, it wasn't 213 million that because of fentanyl, but it was a huge decrease of how many people died from opioids. And that is a good thing.
That is an awesome thing. Just a couple quick texts before we get to the bottom of the hour news here for you kids. That's 11:30. Thank you, Kristin Brey, for bringing your viewpoint to the program. Sorry you get interrupted so often. Have you listened to the show? We all get interrupted. Texter asked the question that I was going to ask, and I didn't have time. Do Democrats, are they all on the same page? I'm paraphrasing, but they're not either. I mean, this idea that there's one monolithic idea.
Well, that's the two-party system, right? It's like there's
Absolutely.
both parties end up having to be a big tent. But it does feel like there is a shifting that is happening in both parties as far as like what are the values, what are the policies, and who are we appealing to?
Yeah, so I think we get a little consumed with our party identities sometimes. I think we're all talking about the same things, but we're not. There's even on that very sensitive subject of abortion, you can find pro-lifers and pro-choicers within the same party. So let's not think that it's like a blanket, this is what you are, this is what you are. That's actually a dangerous way to think, and it's not helpful as actually someone who wants to see things actually move forward, other than just constantly throwing barbs and accusations at each other. I think that's my take on all of that stuff.
All right.
How's your campaign going, by the way, since we got 30
I
seconds?
think good. I mean, I just showed you guys the photo.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
I don't know if it was Steve
bad
or
look.
Bill criticizing that the jacket must be out of style now. Turns out if you hold on to something long enough, it'll come back in style.
That part is true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Actually, were you a bell-bottoms guy, Steve?
Oh, I'm sure in the 70s
I
I
was
was.
saying,
Oh, I
Kendrick
gotta see
Lamar wore
those
some
photos.
bell-bottoms
That's all
at the
they
Super Bowl
stole.
this year, so
Yeah.
you could bring those back.
Yeah, jean bell-bottoms, they had dress pants. That was all we wore for I think about 3 or 4 years.
Corduroys.
Yeah.
Corduroys were the dress pants.
Does anybody wear corduroy pants anymore? Is that a thing
I
anymore?
don't think so.
I want to bring those back so they can hear you walking up. All right, gentlemen, have a good weekend. We got local
Great.
news coming up. Don't forget our podcast was released today, the 9th edition of You Need to Listen. It's a really good one. And yes, Kristin swears in it. Local news with Connie Weber. But before we get to that, the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franz, and in New Orleans, a full-scale search is on after authorities in New Orleans Parish say 11 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center this morning. At a press briefing, Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson warning the public not to engage the inmates who are considered armed and dangerous.
Anyone who helped or contributed to this escape will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
No other details on what led to that escape. President Trump, returning from the Middle East, spoke to European leaders about talks between Ukraine and Russia today. Delegations ending negotiations in Turkey after several hours. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer telling the AP earlier that the Russian position is clearly unacceptable. Authorities in Wisconsin assessing the damage after last night's storms and tornadoes that tore across the state. The town of Juneau hit hard with roofs torn off and homes and businesses destroyed. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:31 and weather tops our news. Thursday night severe weather in Dodge County included a confirmed tornado over Mayville. The mayor there declared a state of emergency after the storms came through. Some residents displaced. Others asked to shelter in place at home as crews worked to clean up downed trees and power lines. National Weather Service surveying damage across multiple areas and thousands still without power this morning. Those power outages affecting schools. No school for kids at Cedar Hills Elementary and Oak Creek because of power outages. And the Milwaukee High School of the Arts has a delayed start. They begin this hour after a power outage there. Milwaukee judge accused of helping an illegal immigrant escape arrest pleading not guilty. Prosecutors say County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan had Eduardo Flores Ruiz in her courtroom last month when she was made aware that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents were in the courthouse. Dugan's then accused of leading Flores Ruiz through a private exit away from the agents. She filed a motion to dismiss yesterday, arguing her arrest was unconstitutional and she should have judicial immunity. She'll be back in court in July. Time for some news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 134, 42,457. The Nasdaq is up 40 at 19,152, and the S&P 500 up 20 points at 5,937. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. The exit to Silver Spring Drive from I-41 South still closed because of an incident there. Heavy delays to the south. I-94 East at the ramp from Mitchell Boulevard. Right shoulder there blocked due to a broken down vehicle. And there is another off-right still. I-94 West about a mile and a third beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's going to be partly cloudy, windy, and warm today with a high of 80, but a chance of afternoon and evening storms again tonight. That chance for storms continues up north overnight with a low 52. Slight chance of rain to the north on Saturday, high 64. Sunny and cooler on Sunday, highs 57, lakeside 65 inland. Chance for Monday afternoon showers, highs 53 to 60, and a chance for rain again on Tuesday, highs 53 to about 58. Right now, Madison 75, 77 in Green Bay, and in Milwaukee we have 72 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:34.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
Why is everyone coming on their riding mowers and UTVs?
I figured all the neighbors could use a break from yard work, so I invited them for
a ride-on lawnmower movie?
Or, as I like to say, a movie.
We've got the value you need to do things your way. Like 10% off all Carl Star specialty tires, 15% off for rewards members, and 16-ounce Sta-Bil 2-cycle oil, just $5.99. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
I heard you installed solar panels on your house last year. Who do I call about that?
What's up?
I said, who can I call about having solar panels installed?
What's up? What's Up Engineering is the name you can trust with your solar project. Whether you want to lower your energy bills, establish energy security, or be grid independent for your home or business. No subcontractors. They do all the work so you have assured project satisfaction. Go solar today with What's Up Engineering, serving all of southern Wisconsin. Visit what'supengineering.com to learn more about solar today.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Stormy last night, and this is a great time to talk about one of our partners here at Loyal Family Renovation. So, I had hail damage last May, bad. Our whole neighborhood got wiped out, and people were sending me pictures last night on text. Like, by me, very small, pea size. By my buddy Ken's house, my friend Julie's house, like golf ball size, which will dent everything. It'll wreck your roof. So, you know, I'm meeting, actually having dinner with Jeff and Jake on Monday, along with Nick, one of our salespeople here, and they can take whatever issue you have, and it's not just like your roof or your cars. Those are the ones that almost seem to be hit. It's like your gutters or your siding or sometimes your screens, your windows. They'll stop to your house and they'll evaluate everything, like everything you have that could have been impacted. It's not like a one thing. It's like many things, especially for hail like this. And there were some places in our area yesterday that had baseball size hail.
It was crazy because I was in Madison last night.
Yes.
The storm was wild as far as it almost just like washed over the entire state. But how long did it last here? In Madison, it was 15 minutes?
Yeah, for like an hour.
Okay.
And in various forms. There's hail, there's heavy rain, there was high winds, and then it was gone. Then it was a little bit almost sunny at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in Madison.
But if you need someone to come out and actually like look at your damage, because I know it's extensive, and look, having gone through that, it's never easy. And especially if you have a roof problem, that can lead to other problems where you have water coming in. Water infiltration is how they call it in the business. But a company that actually will work with you and your adjusters. So I know it's a bit of a commercial, but I love working with Jeff and Jake at Loyal Family Renovations, and they're so good at their jobs. And here's what I loved about them, and I will make this personal, because when Kathy and I met with them, Jake and Jeff and Kathy and I, we sat in our patio and we actually called our insurance company and we all talked together through all of this stuff. And they analyzed all the things that we had and they worked through this for months. And then we, of course, got a brand new roof out of it. My roof was pretty badly beat up, as were others in my neighborhood. So if you're looking for somebody who can actually do something about the issues that you, unfortunately, are probably dealing with today, and it's even beyond that, there could be structural damage to your house, because we know there was some severely high winds and probably tornadic behavior in some areas.
Did any trees go down by you?
None that I saw.
I'll show you a commercial. There's a big
by
tree
your
that,
house.
Yep.
And you're on the River West side of town. So, yeah, I mean, it was a nasty storm. You know, we're used to that here, but Loyal Family Renovations. So that is just my plug for if you want someone that's going to get to the bottom of whatever your house is needing to be looked at and to get the work done and to get you resolution. They're really good at what they do. What else should we talk about today? What were you doing yesterday?
So there's two different events. On Wednesday night, this was excellent. So do you remember Monte Ball?
Yeah.
So I remember him playing for the Badgers. Obviously, like a star running back, and then got drafted for the Broncos.
He was as good as it gets, yeah.
And do you know his story?
Yeah, I know he had some, I think, alcohol and drug issues.
Not drug, just alcohol. And, and it was, I don't know if you can write a more prolific bottom, like hitting rock bottom, than what he had. So he watched the Broncos win the Super Bowl from a jail cell in Dane County.
Wow.
And then shortly after that, his son was born, and that was his decision to start getting help and go into recovery, go into therapy. And so now he's spent the last 9 years being a mental health advocate, working in all different. He's opening recovery high schools in Colorado. He might be opening one in Wisconsin in 2026. So it was a fundraiser for Journey Mental Health Center, but it was like a fireside chat of getting him telling his story. And I listened to a lot of podcasts in preparation of interviewing him. And there was even stuff that came out that he had not talked about before. In fact, the first story, I was like, how do you feel when you come back to Madison? Because like growing up there, every time I step back in Madison, there's nostalgia. There's feelings of being grateful that I grew up there. And for him, he's obviously had some of his worst days and some of his best days there. And I didn't know what his answer to that question was going to be, that we open it up like that. And for the first time that night, he stayed in the same hotel where he had gotten arrested.
Oh, wow.
And like it was like a step forward for him in therapy to like make that choice to stay there. And like it was really cool. That was really cool. And then last night, we have a question.
I just love the fact that now he's sort of mended his problems and it's paying it forward.
And paying it forward. And I think that's the thing. And that's one of the things I asked him. I was like, you were a high profile guy. This obviously, when you got cut from the Broncos, the embarrassment that came with that, then you get arrested. And, when you have that kind of notoriety, they get bits and pieces of the story. And I was like, what was the decision to not just move on, right? Like now he part of his life's work is retelling that story again and again and again in the pursuit of his story helping other people. And like, he was an unbelievable human being. And like, he's still doing work in Wisconsin, doing a lot of work in Colorado. So it was very cool to be part of that conversation.
And last night you were just partying?
No. That was a different thing. That was Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. They were doing their annual fundraiser formal gathering. It wasn't even that formal, though. It was the People's Gala. So there was more.
Was it a who's who?
Not really.
No?
But it was fun. It was fun. Our friend Dan Schaefer was there with me.
I love Dan. He's a great writer.
And so, but yeah, it was like I said, I love Milwaukee. I love that I live here. It is always nice to spend a little time in Madison, though.
I love Milwaukee, too. I just work here, but I still think it's a great city on a great lake. Not the first person to say
isn't
that.
Oak Creek also on a Great Lake?
It is.
Yeah.
It's also a great city. I used to be mayor there once.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
How many texts will we get on that subject, you think, now? And a Packer season ticket holder. Might as well rub both wounds raw. All right.
What was that?
Packer season ticket holder.
Rub both wounds
raw.
Is that a saying?
Yes. Look it up.
I've literally never heard that before.
Google that, you know what. She's Chris and I'm Steve. Point taken.
Save big on your landscaping project at Menards. We're your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. Whether you're installing a patio or adding a new retaining wall, we have the largest in-stock selection ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates fast using our landscape design program in store or on Menards.com. Save big on landscape blocks when you shop at Menards. And check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi for Avid. Don't put up with tossing and turning and snoring and restless nights of sleep. You don't have to do that. I did something about it 5 years ago and it changed my life, and it could change yours as well. My nose was the problem, sinuses and nasal passages. I went to Abbott, 30-minute visit. They put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. After a short procedure in one of their great offices, back to breathing better than ever. And my wife, Kathy, and I sleeping through the whole night. That's worth the price of admission, trust me. If you struggle like I used to, take the time and see how Avid can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AvidKnows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Avid knows when you breathe well, you live better.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time, because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further, because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhardt Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritware is vital. That's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritware from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritware and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhardt.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park.
All right, a door slam causes a stir, severe weather strikes the state, birds keep exploding, and more. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by the Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Another country where it's better.
Father of the Madison school shooter is now out on bond. 42-year-old Jeffrey Rupnow faces 3 felony charges, including intentionally providing a dangerous weapon to a minor. His daughter, 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, used the legally purchased guns in their home in the deadly Abundant Life Christian School shooting last December.
Freddie's 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Got him with a changeup for strikeout number 1,000 in the career of Freddie Peralta.
Gary Day now faces 6 charges in the Eastern District of Arkansas after he was involved in a multi-state Amber Alert for missing teenager Sophia Franklin.
On the second floor of the 2-story home in Fredonia, Ozaukee County Sheriff Kristin Knowles says a 37-year-old man was armed to the teeth and making threats towards law enforcement.
We knew he had firearms, and there was a lot of firepower in that home.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, it's from downtown Milwaukee. The Zeidler Building reports of an incident there with a large police presence.
The examination of the area did not show any signs of a weapon being discharged, which is a very, very good thing.
NFC North Division opponents bookend the Packers' schedule. Week 1 at home against the Lions and Week 18 on the road against the Minnesota Vikings.
A federal grand jury indicts Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan, accused of helping an undocumented man evade immigration agents.
We are here today to support not just Judge Hannah, but to support democracy. The eyes of the country and the world are watching very closely this case.
Gina is trying to find a title, a creative title for this podcast. I'm going to suggest pegging, knobs, and double runs.
So many different meanings if you don't know cribbage. You better be careful what kind of podcast you start.
A very good point.
Damning new details that we're releasing today about former President Joe Biden's physical and mental deterioration and how his family members and closest aides concealed it from the public.
To admit that you weren't doing a good enough job as a journalist to dig a little bit deeper during the administration.
Someone's got to tell the story. Someone's going to have to write a book. No journalist is perfect.
All eyes here in Chicago are on Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Fake news.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
In the East Bay city of Richmond, along Bernhard Avenue, they have a problem. Birds keep exploding. They land on a certain power line and they're immediately electrocuted. Bird carcasses litter the street.
So when they land and it happens, they just quickly explode, and it's just really violent.
Decapitated, whole big thing. We had a funeral for a bird.
I'm pretty sure none of that's real.
Lane Grindle, Brewers broadcaster, is with us. All right, Lane, you wear headsets for a living.
Talk about a head of hair.
Yes.
Do you ever worry about if you have an event after the game, how your hair is going to look? Do you get headset hair?
I have very thick hair, and it's very straight, so it's a problem for really anything that I do. I have calyx. It's just a mess.
I got gum in my hair.
You do.
This just stinks.
Any one of the thunderstorms has the potential of producing tornadoes. So they also will have the potential to produce very large hail on the order of golf ball size hail or larger.
Thursday night severe weather in Dodge County included one confirmed tornado at Mayville.
Several police stations will be playing Amazing Grace as a salute to our men and women that wear the uniform.
You know, without Lake Michigan, or even, I suppose, Lake Superior, without the Great Lakes, Wisconsin would be, what do folks say? Iowa.
Oh, I knew you were going to
Okay, guys, take care and goodbye.
What a week, huh?
What a week, eh?
What a week.
Shut it down! Let's go!
I would love to be in Milwaukee. I love it here. They call me the mayor here, right? So it's kind of hard to leave a city where you're the mayor.
Why? What did we do? Suckers.
Fake news.
So when they land and it happens, they just quickly explode.
I put no-see-em spray on every evening, and it doesn't care. They find me.
And I don't have to see you tomorrow or Sunday. Please don't call me, and we'll see how things go on Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
That's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
You should be listening to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty each weekday.
Jessica's going to carry the show while I watch round one of the Masters. Thank you in advance for handling things today.
Oh, yeah, you're out, huh? Isn't that what you said to me when the NCAA tournament started?
Yes, and I was here mostly.
But if you missed us, catch up anytime with our Wisconsin's Midday News podcast.
Right there at your fingertips, wherever you get your podcast, find us.
Powered by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
Hey, it's WTMJ Scaffidi for my special trip to Hawaii. Yes, November of 2026. Not this November, but November of 2026. I'm inviting all of you, at least 50 of you, to join me on a great trip with Fox Road Travel. Incredible 3-island itinerary. Oahu, Big Island of Hawaii, Maui. We'll visit Pearl Harbor, of course. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Kona Coffee Plantation, which I am excited about. We'll do a luau. You got to do a luau when you go to the Big Island. Visit the Maui Aquatic Center. It's an active trip, but you know what? We built in free days. You can do whatever you want. You can hang by the pool. You can go surf. You can shop. You can do whatever you want during the extensive time we spend on the 3 islands. Kathy and I would love to have you join us. Now, here's the deal. There's an early booking discount. That's going to save you a lot of money. So don't wait. It's already half booked of the roughly 50 people. So there's a lot of more details to come on this trip, but do not wait. It will sell out. All my trips do with Fox. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or go to WTMG.com and find my show page. There's a banner link there as well. Don't miss out on the early booking discount. Don't miss out on the fun. Our trips are amazing, as is Fox World Travel. Best of Hawaii with Steve Scaffidi, yours truly, is what it's called. You can find it there. You want to be on this trip. You want to join me in Hawaii. Let's make that happen.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just 1 day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Dignified services with less expensive fees compared to other fine funeral homes. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I'm the football guy, definitely not the outdoor home projects guy. So when it comes to things like deck building, Excel Custom Decks is the true go-to expert. Family owned and operated, Excel Custom Decks uses the finest materials and products and combines that with superior craftsmanship. If you want your outdoor area to shine this summer, contact Excel Custom Decks now. Whatever you dream up for that perfect deck, pergola, or outdoor kitchen, Rob and his family can build it. Excel Custom Decks, decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com today.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station.
Oh, we certainly are. WTMJ tomorrow at the Brewers Ballpark. I'm excited about that. Kristin will be throwing out the first pitch. I'll be there for moral support. I did it, I think, 5 years ago. It's sort of nerve-wracking, but, you know, once you're out there, it's just like...
How'd your pitch go?
It was good.
You get it over the base?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it was straight?
I mean, straight as I'm not a professional pitcher, but it was a good pitch.
All right.
I mean, I did it for a lot of years for like the opener of like high school baseball and Little League. They always invited the mayor, so you get a lot of practice.
You a mayor?
Yes, in Oak Creek. So come on out if you're at the ballpark and say hi. The other thing is next week is one of my favorite weeks of the year. It's Salute to Service Week. We honor this year 6 people.
Oh, you bumped up 6.
Yeah, because we have co-honorees on. Let me get the day right. Thursday, representing the Milwaukee Fire Department. Co-honorees, tremendous story. Each day, Chris and I will play a feature. We're going to have live studio guests, of course, the honoree, and some people, some spouses, some co-workers. We have a canine officer this year, which I'm very excited about. I thought I did one previously, and I might have. I have to think about that longer. But it's always going to be the last half hour of the program. Mm-hmm. So Monday and Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, 11:30. We have an early out for Brewers on Wednesday, so that'll be at 11:08 roughly. We'll tell their stories. It's all fun. They're all interesting stories in different ways.
I can't wait.
Some are two life-saving stories, and the other ones are sort of fun, just fun stories, including a awesome one, a fire department chaplain for like a dozen communities. He's also a pastor. And when we were doing the interview, I'm like, I cannot wait to talk to you in person. He just blew me away in the interview.
Because his charisma?
He had it all going on. He was confident. He was funny. He's a storyteller. And his wife nominated him, who was also a co-pastor. So every year it's different stories. I was just very excited about the process.
Yeah.
And we did probably with all the various pieces, 20 different interviews this week. So poor Jazz and I were like, and then we did some. We did
I know,
some
because
other,
I was gone for.
Yeah.
So I
you
wasn't
sat
there
in
for
on a
some
couple.
of the heavy lifting, but yeah, I'm excited to hear the stories. Be part of it for the first time.
And as I was talking about earlier, our partners are fantastic at WTMJ, and my partner for most of the years of this have been Waterstone Bank, who are just absolutely tremendous. I've known the last two CEOs there, and they always gave me a strong commitment that they want to be part of this story. It is something that I did right away when I started doing radio. I said I want to tell the story because I had spent a lot of years doing what I was doing, and I had a close relationship with public safety folks, and their stories weren't being told, at least not the positive stories. So this is sort of my celebration of that reality, that there are some really cool stories that should be told. And we spend a week in May every year, this week, sort of sharing that information. So I'm excited and geeked out about it. And thanks to producer Jazz for doing all the heavy lifting on this stuff, because that's not easy, trust me. And I've had, 3 producers who have done this for me over the years. And it's a lot of work, on top of all their regular work.
Mm-hmm.
So join us last half hour of all of our next week's programs. Kristin, good luck on your first pitch tomorrow. I will be out there.
You'll be there, so.
I'm going to try to...
I'm just imagining you like whispering something to get in my head, like right before I go, just to like...
Like tormenting you?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely, I will do that. I think the roof will be closed because it's supposed to be a little
Windy.
cooler tomorrow, so which is a good thing. You don't want to wind aided like going over.
At least
the
I'll
guy.
have something to blame if it was open. I'm like,
Yeah,
the wind.
it's all on you because it's calm with that roof closed. She's Kristin. I'm Steve. This is Point Taken. Thanks as always for tuning in. We had some great shows this week.
We had some great shows. So if you want to go back, just a reminder, if you text POINT to 855-616-1620, we will send you the link to our show page where you can get the links to the Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts, so you can review and subscribe and never miss a show.
Yeah. And I actually go back and listen to all the shows. I don't know if you do that, but I do that. And I learn stuff because to be honest, sometimes I'm not paying close attention. I got other stuff to be doing up here. And
when I'm yapping,
when you're
like,
yapping away.
All those years of learning how to tune it out.
And that's the honesty you're going to get from a guy like me.
I appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you Monday. Well, maybe we'll see you at the ballpark. Have a great weekend, everybody.
What do your favorite vacation, investment portfolio, and backyard all have in common? The perfect